You must be wondering why that big name is here on this plate. Well, the logical answer is that Warren Buffett did plant this tree here in Bangalore. But why? We are here at Taegutec, India. It's a part of a group of companies worldwide owned by Berkshire Hathaway, and Berkshire Hathaway, as you know, is owned by Warren Buffett. So, in short, the Oracle of Omaha owns this company right here in Bangalore. So how do they fit in the scheme of Make in India? Let's find out.
Physical contact with B2B. For example, if you take this crankshaft, can you see an electric discharge inside? So that's smart, so you get the same profile on the inside.
So Mr. L. Krishnan, Managing Director of Taegutec India, has been taking us around the facility. Thank you so much for taking us around, sir. It's been an interesting journey here. And as far as Make in India is concerned, we were talking about how critical it is for the government to put infrastructure. There are a whole lot of issues that we need to get into shape. But interesting, you're pointing out right to the basics, which comes to infrastructure at industrial parks. Now, that needs to be groomed up first?
Yes, what we do today is in the country, we are creating industrial parks around the country. There is a government department which is only job is to build an industrial park, which is a place where the GDP, manufacturing GDP is built, is not anybody's job today. So consequently, many of the industrial area you walk through, you go to road conditions are in pitiable condition, traffic density as it increases, facilities don't evolve. So this is one of the fundamental issues we need to really address. At the end of the day, when you say Make in India, you need to bring the raw material into the factory and you need to move the finished goods out of the factory. If you don't have infrastructure to do this, it would become really a challenge. Incidentally, I remember somebody known to me, very well known to me, working for a fashion company in the US, coming to India, China, Vietnam, many places for sourcing garment. They say the only point on which they get scared is the location of these industrial factories or garment factories. How such a large volume of raw material and goods will come out, hence they play very safe when it comes to India. They don't really place such a very large order as compared to what they place in China.
Right. I was just interacting with an aircraft manufacturer. They were saying because of power, a crucial supplier of a component in Coimbatore failed to deliver. Because of that, a particular aircraft type was delayed by several months. So power plays an important role, and we are just not there.
Absolutely. Power has two important roles to play. Number one, the reliable power supply is must for uninterrupted factory. Number two is, power also is required to be at a competitive rates. Every manufacturer, this is a unique country, every manufacturer, whether you produce automobile, whether you produce cutting tool, whether you produce a garment, you also produce energy. There is nowhere in the world a producer is also energy producer. So in our country, if you have to produce diesel engine and then produce energy, it could cost you 15-16 rupees, and you need to compete against countries which would probably get power per unit at the price of about 5-6 rupees. So it becomes highly uncompetitive to we need to fix this major issue of road infrastructure and energy and connectivity to the port and the airports. The human being is not actually made for this. This is the electrode.
It's interesting because, they've done a lot of rainwater harvesting, so they do need a lot of water to run this plant. Much of your water is reused. We will go out and see that. And also an interesting forest. What were you calling it? High density?
High density tree plantation technique. It's actually a patented process by a Japanese scientist. We believe that every single company, everybody who has got a small piece of land can do a high density plantation.
Let's show our viewers that plantation, and we'll talk about more about Make in India. So we're going to go to the garden. Come along. So we are now outside. Water purification, composting, all of it is done here, apart from this unique setup for recycling water. So a lot of it is natural.
It's 100% natural. First of all, in this company, every single drop of water that comes into the company is treated in some way or other. So all of our sewage water comes here into this area. It's treated by an industrial way. Now we are experimenting on a prototype to do it we are using plant as a digester. Plant is injecting, roots is injecting oxygen into the sewage water and treating it in a natural way. It's the first prototype we are testing. Once we are done with this, stabilize the process, we want to replicate the entire industrial process. We want to move to the natural process. You can see the drop of water, treated water dropping back into the...
Right. Now, we are showing this because it's very relevant, I believe, when it comes to Make in India, isn't it? We have to do some of this into Make in India. So we naturally grow here and are able to supply to the world. We need to supply to the world. We need to come up with these kind of innovative things. Do you think so?
No, first of all, let me say that being environment friendly, being water friendly, being nature friendly is not bad business. It is excellent business. Because you have a civilization sitting around you and you are wasting water to maintain a garden without responsibility of treating water and using it. It's not sustainable at all. So we realize this. We believe that every single company should become zero discharge company, treat all the possible water in the best, least energy consumption method, like these methods. Even the waste, we need to process the waste.
Right. So it should be in the agenda of Make in India?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So this is the little forest that they have created here at the factory. Interesting because the temperature is down here by a few degrees.
Absolutely.
The trees are absorbing the sound, I think. So there's less sound around here. And look at the number of trees. They're just growing like they would grow in the forest. So that is the idea?
Whole idea is that this is the philosophy of a Japanese scientist. He says that if you really want to grow mini forest, don't grow it the way you grow in your garden. Mimic the real forest. In real forest, there are no patterns. They all grow close to each other. They find a way to survive with each other. Incidentally, we were worried about mortality rate of plants, but we are quite surprised. Almost virtually 100% of them survive. It's about now 2.5 years. It's not a very long back we did this. It's only 2.5 years now. It's a very dense, 1,200 trees packed in a very, very small place.
Can it be compared to India? You know, if you look at the various states, if you look at the way we are, if you look at this could be Make in India, you know, with the kind of diversity, the number of plants all packed in together, working together. Now what you were telling me earlier is that, you know, this whole ecosystem, you need to nurture it for a few years, say 2 years. After that, the ecosystem takes over. You don't need to water this because everything kicks in. So for Make in India to happen, what is that nurturing? What is that thing that you need to do, just like you've created this forest?
No, if you look at Make in India, the other important ingredient is people. Nurturing the skill development in this country is going to be the theme.